Yeah, we have, and that's kind of
Yeah.
where I was going with that. Is I feel like we have weathered. I mean, it's still storming, but I feel for the most part, in the typhoon, this would be where you kind of peek your head out the door, and you never know if
Yeah.
the eye's on the other side, but it is what it is. And so you've weathered the COVID pretty well, and I know that you're very fortunate with the restaurants and all that. But what I really wanted to bring you on here to do, Chef, was to kind of highlight the good work that you guys have done in feeding Catholic social services. Now, let's just go to the beginning and talk about how this idea started as an idea and how it blossomed into action.
Well, we started off by making some donations to the frontliners over at GMH, and just to try to help out with this whole pandemic situation. And then one day, Lenny Farron with Kuddu called me up and said, "Hey, we're doing this Kuddu Caregivers project, and we're wondering if you're interested in participating," and explained the whole concept to me, and feeding families in need, and especially in this dire moments, right? So I said, "Man, that's such a great idea," and they had some charitable establishments that gave products, starting from the proteins to the produce. There were various companies that have donated. From what I know, and forgive me if I forget about anybody, but I know that companies like PDC, Payless, IDI, Quality, and Lenny would probably be able to tell you all the different sponsors, but there's so many donors for this project that it was so nice for them to give, and all we had to do was get the food. Lenny was orchestrated mostly everything. I mean, he's the guy who receives the food and gets people to go out there. And he was cooking almost every day for a little bit. And thankfully, some other people came in and partnered up to try to help with the cause. And we were fortunate to do it. And we actually enjoyed cooking, and we took the products and we turned it into meals for hundreds of different people.
I'm getting hungry looking at this short rib video. Is that short rib?
Yeah, I mean, we cooked several things actually, but it was great. Our staff was happy to do it, and knowing that it was going to such a great cause and feeding families in need, and trying to showcase our expertise as well in the food and beverage industry. So that's pretty much it. And they had other partners like Grab and Grub, and
Right.
and people from Catholic Social Services who came and picked up the foods when the containers were done. They would come down and pick up the meals and make their deliveries. But yeah, it was definitely very satisfying in terms of making a difference in our communities here.
Is that
Guam.
Corinpica?
No, actually, I did. One day I did what we call pork achoti. And it's like stafao, but we put a choti in it to
Right.
give it some
That's
color.
what that is, right on with the white rice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's kind of like the pork version of the steak.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So, and that was kind of a childhood favorite of mine. So one of the products we got was chopped up pork bone in, and that was like the perfect product to do the pork achoti. So that was nice.
What was the other dish with the red rice?
We did.
Can you say it slow, Chef?
Sure. We did a soy glazed flank steak, barbecue flank steak, and we served it with red rice and coleslaw and barbecue beans.
This is his kind of sexy talk. He really likes this. Over here,
I'm
like,
just staring off right now. I'm like, yeah, go ahead. Flank steak, marinated, yeah, barbecued. Oh yeah, red rice.
Getting close to lunch.
I'm almost there.
you know what's so beautiful about this is, before you came on, we were talking about how we've kind of been on this roller coaster and how we started this show. And I remember, Pico was one of the first people that we had on the show about the Kadu Cares program, and it's just grown into this one beautiful thing. And so it's so nice to hear how restaurants like yours have come together to help and give back to the community.
Right.
Well, we just played a small role in helping out, and there's other restaurants that are helping out currently. And Lenny and his guys, man, they've been busting their butts every day, pretty much scrambling, whether it's gathering the donations and cooking. And I mean, they were cooking most of the days, and they're still cooking most of the days now.
Right. And Chef, this is what I meant when I tried to get you on. I mean, I really had to really try it because I know you're humble and you don't want to be out here like, hey, look at me, look what I did. But that's why we wanted to bring you on and recognize you as a COVID hero, Chef. You and the restaurant, your family restaurant there. Chef.
Well, thank you, man. I really appreciate that. And, I think all of us share in the idea of, like, Guam is great, and let's, like any other tragic moment here in Guam, typhoons and stuff, the very next day we put the pieces back together, right. And then we take care of each other. And that's, no matter what we encounter, that's the way it's going to be here in Guam. That's our culture, that's who we are.
Chef, do you want to throw anything out? Are you guys open for dine-in, or anything you want to add in here before you go?
Yes, thank you for that. Actually, all of our restaurants are open for dine-in, of course, at 50% occupancy. And hopefully that changes soon, but we have been very stringent with our staff and our different various protocols and sanitizing before, during, and after, and taking all the precautionary measures. To include our Ghana restaurant, we actually built dividers for our tables. So I think we might change our restaurant name to the Fish Tank, because we got a lot of plexiglass dividers.
I feel like I'm in prison in the movies, now. And they're like looking at each other like, how's your Tanatla? It's good. All right. Can you pass the Denancy? Well, Chef, thank you so much. All right.
Thank you, guys.
Okay.
I really appreciate what you guys are doing.
Right on. I told Bree that, she doesn't want me to say it, but if, anything from Meskla DOS accidentally finds its way to KUAM, we won't get mad. I just want to clear it.
Hey, we'll do that.
Okay,
brother.
right on. Thank you, Chef. Wash your hands.
Take care. Tell Monica I said hi.
Okay.
We'll do.
Right on.
Okay. Bye.
Adios.
Man, taking me back. I hosted a big event for the Micronesian Chefs Association before the COVID, and Monica and Pete were kind of the ones who brought me on to host it. I had a great time, as always, and it just really, I don't know, I was in my feels last night. Like every night, I was just thinking about all these things I was doing before the COVID and how it just seems like so long ago, and then come to think of it, it wasn't that long ago. It was like the beginning of March.